Good evening. Welcome to this evening's newscast on Kaieteur Radio. Kevin Smith here.
And I am Kayla King.
Let's get to the news in detail. A senior minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, Dr. Rashni Singh, recently presented to the National Assembly and by extension the country the largest budget it has ever seen. Kaieteur witnessed in the dome of the Arthur Chang Conference Centre yesterday a hurling of racist, homophobic and sexist insult from one member of Parliament to the other. Later, Government MP Dr. Vishwa Mahadio indicated to the National Assembly that in 2017, the Rehabilitation Department under the former administration requested an apparatus named a medical chest vibrator, but instead it was at this point that Dr. Mahadio displayed a vibrating dildo. It is unclear, however, how and where the former coalition government sourced this device, since the laws of Guyana prohibit the importation of sex toys. Get the full details in today's Kaieteur News.
Meanwhile, two Wall Street banks, JP Morgan Chase and Goldman Sachs, are predicting that the price of oil will soar when COVID-19 eases, according to a report from the Financial Post. Goldman Sachs analyst Jeffrey Curry reportedly registered his belief that there are real risks that oil will trade in $80 range or even higher this year. Arjun Murthy, another expert who had worked with Curry when predicting a previous oil price high, said that projections of a supercycle are premature, but that he can imagine scenarios where oil prices strengthen significantly, according to the Post.
And moving on, Shadow Oil and Gas Minister and AFC Member of Parliament David Patterson yesterday filed a motion with the National Assembly which would require the EPA to take action to curb ExxonMobil's flaring. The motion is being seconded by AFC MP Cathy Hughes, who is also expected to operate in Parliament with an oil and gas portfolio. ExxonMobil has been flaring since late January at a rate of 16 to 18 million cubic feet per day. The company has sent defective equipment to Germany for repairs and expects reinstatement in about 8 weeks. It had also placed an order for a new gas compressor and expects it to arrive closer to the end of the year.
And in other news, police have arrested a man who reportedly murdered his cousin during a family dispute Sunday night. Dead is 25-year-old Reyaz Mohammed, a fisherman of West Bank, Berbice. The act was allegedly committed by his 26-year-old cousin, Rocky Harper. He was reportedly armed with a knife. The incident is said to have taken place sometime around 1830 hours. Reports are that the cousins, along with other relatives, were consuming alcohol when the deceased started using foul language against his father and in the process started to hit him several times.
And now let's tell you, after he returned from a hangout with friends, 32-year-old Colin Anthony was beaten to death at his Bell West Bank Demerara home on Tuesday last with a piece of iron and then dumped into a septic tank. At least this is what his 28-year-old roommate Fazal Mohammed Ibrahim of Herstelling gave detectives yesterday. Cops nabbed Ibrahim on Sunday at Grove while he was sitting as a passenger in a minibus. Ibrahim and Anthony were friends for several years and were living together for some time now at Bell West. In his confession, Ibrahim said that he murdered Anthony for having an intimate relationship with his wife.
And now let's tell you, several discrepancies within the Ethnic Relations Commission have been uncovered following independent research by Kaieteur, and the most recent finding pinpoints that it received over $500 million in budgetary allocations while being inoperable for 7 years. The ERC was established on March 8, 2002, aiming to promote ethnic harmony and security in Guyana. Despite being inoperable from 2011 to 2018, budget estimates reveal that the Commission would have received $504 million in those 7 years, leaving two significant questions. What was the money spent on? Who presided over the spending?
With that being said, let's add that Colin White, a police sergeant, yesterday made his initial appearance at the Blairmont Magistrates Court to answer to the fraud charge of attempted murder. He appeared before Magistrate Peter Hugh and was charged with attempt to commit murder on Shanetta James. He was not required to plead and was remanded to prison until March 2nd. Initial reports are that the shooting occurred at Ondeniming West Coast Berbice. White had discharged a round in her direction, hitting her to the neck. After realizing what he had done, he rushed the woman to the Fort Wellington Hospital and left.
Meanwhile, the father of one of the Mazaruni escapees yesterday made his first court appearance and was remanded to prison for harboring the 4 high-profile escapees. The defendant, 60-year-old Ralph Jones, a boat captain of Bartica, appeared at the Vredenhoop Magistrates Court before Magistrate Crystal Lambert. The charges alleged that he harbored 25-year-old Imran Ramsewak, 44-year-old Kenrick Light, 36-year-old Samuel Govaya, and 28-year-old Rayon Jones. The joint service is encouraging all law-abiding citizens to report to the nearest police station or call 455-2238, 455-2222, or 911 should they be seen. All information will be treated with the strictest confidence.
And that brings us to the end of this evening's newscast. I am Kevin Smith.
And I am Kayla King. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-846